Hey, what is up, everybody? Before I officially start this video, I just want to say happy Easter Sunday to everybody, and for those of you that don't celebrate Easter, then happy Sunday. Um, and I am here to give you your WWE Raw review. I know it's late as hell, because it's like 2 in the morning for one thing, and it's like almost a week late, but I thought I was going to be putting back the Aftershock corner by now, so yeah. Because we were going to put him back on campus, but then we couldn't do the show Friday. We're not going to be able to do the show at all this week since I have a doctor's appointment and I'm going to be going to WrestleMania, so I won't be there for it. So we're just going to wait until after WrestleMania to bring back the Aftershock corner. So let's talk about this week's episode, this past episode's Monday Night Raw. Really wasn't a bad show. I'm still not hyped for Mania. I think I'm actually hyped for it now that my trip's actually set. Now it's all going to be set and done, but I'll talk about that in a different video. But I think that this really wasn't a bad show here. So this Monday Night Raw took place on March 21st, 2016. And we had JBL, Michael Cole, and Byron Saxton on commentary for this show. And the show actually started off by showing a In Memory of Marion Catherine Stewart video. Well, like, it comes up with, like, that picture. I thought that was really weird. And because I thought, like, something happened because I didn't go on social media or anything the weekend before Raw, so I didn't know what happened at first. But then I read online more when Arlo actually tweeted out that was the cameraman's daughter, so obviously it was somebody that was important to them. So I actually am going to commemorate the WWE for doing something like that. So the first thing that happens on Raw is Stephanie McMahon comes out to cut a promo. And she talks about how everybody just ate up the fact that Roman Reigns beat up Triple H last week. And he said that Triple H, she even says that Triple H isn't at this show because he has obligations to the WWE, so he couldn't be on Raw tonight. It has nothing to do with Roman Reigns. So he probably, what he was doing, was setting up for NXT TakeOver Dallas, which I don't blame him. I'd rather set up for that show than to appear on this Monday Night Raw. But anyhow, yeah, so she talks about that. She talks about how Roman Reigns, the reason that he'll never become champion was that he took a risk and decided to get vengeance on Triple H and risked losing his championship match at WrestleMania, and that's why he'll never be champion, because he's a hothead. And he talks about she talks about too how since Triple H is the champion that they can buy everybody in the building, they can buy everybody. I thought that was a pretty good promo. And then Roman Reigns comes out, and he comes out through the stage because he has to come out through the stage now since fans are just hated on him so much. He can't come out through the fans anymore. And she says, "What a coincidence that you're out here since my husband's not here." So she goes to talk some smack to him, and he tells her to be quiet, grabs the mic out of her hand, and she goes to slap him, and then he blocks it. And he says that at WrestleMania, that ass kicking that your husband got last week is going to be nothing compared to when he takes the championship from him and stands in their ring as champion. And then that was it. He just walks out. I thought it was fine. It really wasn't enough to build up since this is their main title match at Mania, but I thought it was fine. Roman Reigns didn't really say a lot, and he looked like a badass, so I thought it was fine. I just really not hyped for this match. Then afterwards, we get the first match on the show. We get AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens. This was a rematch that happened on SmackDown. And this was a really awesome match. This was like a match worth watching Warfare, because it was just awesome. Really back and forth. A lot of back and forth action. AJ Styles dominates the first half of the match, and then he eventually tries to do a dive on the outside, but it lands on his feet on the apron, and then he tries to go off the apron, but Kevin Owens is able to do a moonsault, but Kevin Owens moves out of the way. Then he goes to slingshot himself onto Kevin Owens, but then he moves out of the way, and AJ Styles goes ribs first into the barricade, so Kevin Owens dominates the matchup for a while, and he hits a cannonball in the corner, and he hits a wicked clothesline on Styles, and Styles goes off on him with kicks and elbows and right hands and drop kicks, and then AJ Styles hits a Death Valley driver into a knee to the head. Kevin, he tries to do a hurricanrana off the top rope on Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens is able to hold on to the ropes, and he hits a frog splash on him, which was really impressive. And then both men take each other down. Kevin Owens hits the super kick, and Styles hits the Pele kick. And then what else happened in this match? AJ Styles hit like a torture rack into a neck breaker. Kevin Owens hit a wicked clothesline. He had to hit the senton on him. And eventually AJ Styles tries to put him away, but Jericho comes out and chants AJ Styles. And then he goes for the calf crusher. But then Jericho gets up on the apron. Styles tries to take a cheap shot, but Kevin Owens wins with a roll-up. I wouldn't have minded the finish, but they did the same finish on SmackDown, so I thought that was just kind of lazy to do the same finish on Raw. But then afterwards, Styles goes to chase after Jericho, and Kevin Owens gets on the microphone and talks about how he's the greatest of all time, and he's wondering who he's gonna wrestle at KO Mania for his title. So then Dolph Ziggler comes out and says, no matter what it is, WrestleMania, KO Mania, Botchamania, which was awesome that he said that. And then he also said Axelmania. He says that if he wrestles him for the Intercontinental Championship, they will steal the show. And then The Miz comes out and says that he should get an Intercontinental Championship match because he's like a big movie star and all that stuff. And Sami Zayn comes out and says that he should get an Intercontinental Championship match because he wants to get revenge on Kevin Owens, and he wants to do it on the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania. So Kevin Owens says that he'll go ask Stephanie McMahon if he can arrange a little triple threat match for the night. So he goes to do that, and she approves it. And I did like this. I liked this segment, loved the match, and I didn't mind the segment. But I knew what this was building up, and I didn't really like that. And I'll talk about that later on in the show. So then it plays a video package for the Shane McMahon Undertaker build-up match for WrestleMania. Now, I did say for my Easter gift that I would not be a troll today and talk about the Undertaker, but it's going to be tough since I'm actually reviewing the show. But they talk about when Shane McMahon come back, everybody buzzed, everybody popped for it. They talk about what Shane McMahon's willing to do to get control of Raw, how he's been taking MMA classes, how the Undertaker is very skillful in how to sell, and a bunch of superstars were sitting down: Booker T, John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Edge, and they do like those typical hype videos to hype up the match. I thought it was fine. They still didn't really give a purpose of why the Undertaker was in the match. But they do this. They talk about how there's going to be Vince McMahon's going to come out and make this big announcement. So we're going to have to wait and see what it is. So then we get Rusev with Sheamus, Ken Barrett, and Alberto Del Rio versus Big E with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods ringside. And the League of Nations are in the win, and they cut a promo talking about how they're going to destroy the New Day at WrestleMania. I didn't really care about that. Then the New Day come out and just completely own the League of Nations. I thought that was awesome. They talk about how everybody should eat their bootios, and they say something about Rusev. I forget what they say, but they really insult Rusev, talk about how he was Russian and all that stuff. They insult Ken Barrett by saying that he's not a king because he doesn't come out with a crown and a robe or anything like that. And he says, imagine what would happen if they were the 3 King of the Ring winners. And they talk about how Alberto Del Rio used to come out with fancy cars, fancy entrance, and had a personal ring announcer, but now all he has is the League of Nations, and they shame him. And then they say, and that brings us to Sheamus. And they ask, like, who names their kid Sheamus? I thought that was awesome. I thought the New Day really nailed it out here. So then they attack the League of Nations, and then eventually, Big E and Rusev have a nice back and forth match. Sheamus, Barrett, and Del Rio lay out Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. So they're laid out for a while. So it's pretty much a 4-on-1 handicap match with Rusev and Rusev dominates the match, and Big E tries to make a comeback. Then eventually Xavier Woods and Kofi take out the rest of the members of the League of Nations, and Big E beats Rusev with a big ending. I thought this was good here. I really wish that they would have done a tag team title match at WrestleMania. I'm kind of pissed they're not defending the tag team titles at WrestleMania, because I think the New Day deserves to defend those titles at WrestleMania. They really did a lot to make those tag team championships prestigious. And I think defending them at WrestleMania makes sense. I think that if you should have just done like done a stip where like the New Day has to put the tag team titles on the line or something. I think that would have clicked, but whatever. But I guess they don't care. And then Bray Wyatt's backstage, and he cuts a creepy promo on Dean Ambrose and stuff. Talk about how Braun Strowman's gonna destroy him. I can't take Bray Wyatt seriously, so. Alicia Fox and Naomi are backstage, and I thought this was going to be like a Divas segment, but it ended up being, what this ended up being was, this pretty much just ended up being like one of those Kickstart commercials where the person's pretending to be somebody else, but then when they eat this, they become themselves, and Natalia was that guy who has that show where he with his family. I don't remember his name, not gonna lie. And Natalia, then when she eats it, it's Natalia. I guess that's the only, at least Natalia's gonna get money out of this, but it's like, what was the point of this? I don't know why they showed it. I thought it was gonna be something, but it wasn't. Then Big Show comes out and cuts a promo talking about how the importance of winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and they have the big trophy out there. And this year, what it does have is the past winners of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And Big Show cuts a promo talking about how important it is to win it, which it really isn't. It means nothing to win this thing. And then the Show Outcasts come out and talk about how they're all going to eliminate Big Show. And Big Show says he's going to lay out all of them with choke slam. And Big Show attacks them, but the numbers game catch up to him. So Kane comes out, makes the save, and lays them all out. And then choke slams Big Show off the top rope. This was lame. They didn't really care about it. And then they announced that Fifth Harmony is going to be performing the national anthem at WrestleMania. I think that I did hear their music, and I don't think it's very good. So hopefully they can perform the national anthem, because why not? So then Stan Hansen inducts. They announced that Stan Hansen's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. I heard his name. I don't know a lot about him, but I heard he was really good. So why not? Then we get Fandango versus Chris Jericho. I don't even remember the last time Fandango had a match on Raw, but apparently he had a match. I don't even remember the last time he's had a match on television, unless it was probably like Main Event or Superstars or something like that. Chris Jericho comes out and, pretty much talks about how everyone's booed him. And when Michael Cohen was talking about how he beat him in his first match in WWE, and Jericho talks about how he's never beaten him. Thought that was awesome. And Jericho goes to get him in the walls, but then AJ Styles just comes out saying Y2 jackass, and Fandango tries to beat him with the roll-up, but Jericho still kicks out and hits a code breaker on him for the win. Then afterwards, Styles comes out and lays out Jericho, and Jericho ends up taking off, and Styles says that he's competed all over the world except for WrestleMania, so he challenges him to a match at WrestleMania. And Jericho then backstage on an interview says that it's not going to happen because he's not going to make a name off of him at WrestleMania, even though he's already made a name off of Chris Jericho because he's beaten him twice already. So, like I said, this feud isn't bad or anything. They really went backwards with this feud, but it's whatever. So then we're supposed to have the triple threat match. You think it's going to be Sami Zayn versus The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. Winner faces Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship. However, there's a twist. I actually liked this year. Kevin Owens comes out, and he announces these guys like it's gonna be Sami Zayn, like it's gonna be it's gonna be The Miz, like it's gonna be Dolph Ziggler. But instead, it ends up being three other guys. It ends up being this triple threat match ends up consisted instead of Stardust, Sin Cara, and Zack Ryder. I thought that was a really smart move because these are pretty much jobbers in the WWE. And Kevin Owens went with guys he would want to easily face. And I thought that was awesome. So the match happens, they have the match, and during the match, Sami Zayn, Ziggler, and Miz come out, and they get mad at Kevin Owens for putting that match together because they think they deserve the shot instead. So Kevin Owens takes a cheap shot on everybody, and everybody just starts attacking Kevin Owens, so he escapes through the lock. He escapes and goes backstage. And Stephanie McMahon says that since she did that, and Kevin Owens was talking about climbing the ladder at WrestleMania, that he'll defend he'll defend his title, not his ladder. Wow. He'll defend his Intercontinental Championship against Stardust, Sin Cara, Zack Ryder, Sami Zayn, The Miz, and Dolph Ziggler at WrestleMania in a 7-man ladder match. Now, I have a couple of problems with this. The main problem I have is it just feels like that this is just rehashed from last year, and it's just thrown together last minute. Last year, I was fine with them doing the ladder match, because at least all the storylines made sense. No storyline except for Sami Zayn and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, not Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens makes sense, and I could make the argument having Dolph Ziggler in the match makes sense, because he wants to stick it to the Authority. But even Ziggler doesn't really make much sense because he's always in the Intercontinental Championship picture. But it should have been a one-on-one match with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn winning the Intercontinental Championship. So I think it's stupid they're not going to go in that direction. And now Miz is injured, so now Miz is on injury list. So now I hear that they have to probably replace him because Miz had a match with Jack Swagger at a live show. And of course, when you have a match, when you get in the ring with Swagger and he does stuff to you, you're going to get injured because he's injured Dolph Ziggler and Ken Barrett in the past, so whatever. I hate the fact they're doing the ladder match again. It feels like they just watched last year's ladder match on the WWE Network and it's like, let's do this again. So I just hate it. I thought it was stupid. And Stephanie McMahon too had also talked about how she wanted to leave because she was afraid of Roman Reigns, so Triple H offered to have a limousine come pick her up. So the limousine comes to pick her up, and Triple H is there, and they go to leave like through the garage, and Roman Reigns is just standing right in front of him. I thought that was pretty badass. He was out there. I don't know how he knew they were going to be out there since he wasn't like listening in on the conversation or anything. I guess he was watching Raw, but I don't know. But anyhow, Roman Reigns just beats the crap out of Triple H until Triple H takes like a quick cheap shot and just escapes with his limousine. I thought the fight backstage looked pretty weak, and it was just the same old shit, so I'm really not hyped for Roman Reigns versus Triple H that much. I care about it somewhat, but they really just kind of made me disinterested. Like I said, I want to see Dean Ambrose on the title picture instead. Which, speaking of which, I forgot to mention something about Dean Ambrose. Earlier in the night, it showed Dean Ambrose in in town wherever Raw was held, and he met Terry Funk, and he gave him his chainsaw, which I thought was awesome. I like what the direction they're going with by having past superstars give him weapons to go all out to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. You have Mick Foley last week giving him the barbed wire baseball bat. Now you have Terry Funk this week giving him the chainsaw. So I wonder what's going to happen next week. So I think I thought that was awesome. So then we get Natalya versus Charlotte with Ric Flair inside, and Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch were on commentary for this match. They were doing guest commentary. It was alright. From what you expected, that there was a Raw TV match, and Charlotte won. I don't remember how, but she won. And I don't remember anything about this. I really didn't care about this. They really haven't done a lot to build up this Divas Championship match, which is kind of a shame because they really could have done a lot. Now, I haven't watched SmackDown the past few weeks, so maybe they've been doing stuff on SmackDown, but, So then we get Bubba Ray Dudley with Devon Dudley versus R-Truth. And they have the match, and Bubba Ray Dudley beats him with a fucking big boot. What a joke and a half that was. Then afterwards, the Dudleys beat up R-Truth, and then Goldust comes out to try to make the save, but he gets outnumbered by the Dudley Boys, which I thought was stupid. Now, I know you have to make the Dudley Boys look strong going into WrestleMania since they're facing the Usos, but this should have been something big. They had been building for weeks and weeks and weeks that they wanted R-Truth and Goldust to be tag team partners, and when Goldust had finally made the save, it should have been a big moment where Goldust and R-Truth stood tall, and then they're like, oh my gosh, they're finally tag team partners, but they just didn't do that. I thought that was stupid. Then the Usos come out and they beat up the Dudley Boys, and then they try to put Devon Dudley through a table, but they were able to escape. And like I said, in theory, I've talked about this before, in theory, the Usos versus the Dudleys should be something special at WrestleMania. It's a tag team from the past against the tag that was huge in the past against a huge babyface tag team in the Usos. And it could be like a nice passing of the torch match, but I just don't care about it. There's weeks, actually, I forget that the Dudley Boys are even under contract with the WWE. And I don't think that's my fault. I think that's the company's fault. Because it would be one thing if it was some jabroni on the main roster. But these are the Dudley Boys. These are like one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And I can't even remember when that they were even in the company for some weeks. So that's just a shame. So then we get the announcement of Shane McMahon versus Undertaker. And Vince McMahon announces pretty much that if Undertaker loses this match, he will have to retire pretty much. That was really it. No one else came out or anything like that, so I expect him to probably do something like big next week with Shane McMahon and Undertaker. I thought he was going to announce himself as the guest referee, but he announced that Taker's career is going to be on the line. Now, I feel like it, like I said, not trolling, that this is just stupid. Because if Taker loses this match and he has to retire, what a stupid storyline to go out in. A storyline that's not even about him. A storyline that's about Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon. How stupid would that be to go out? And he has to go out by constantly being called Vince's bitch. What a stupid way to go out. And I hope that he doesn't lose this match now, because I do not want to see The Undertaker go out in his final match. And if it really is going to be his final match, this better fucking main event Mania. This match already should main event Mania. It's either this or Dean Ambrose, Brock Lesnar. To be honest with you, I would prefer actually this match to main event Mania, since this is the match they're really building to. But what a stupid way for The Undertaker to go out. What a stupid way. And I really do want Taker to win too. But it's like, what a stupid way for Taker to go out in his last match in this fucking storyline. That would be fucking ashamed. They better not have Undertaker lose. Because Shane winning would bring change to the WWE, much needed change. But if it has to come at the expense of having The Undertaker to have to go out in his final fucking match in this fucking storyline, I would be disgraced by that. I'm not trolling too. This is legit. So then afterwards we get Dean Ambrose versus Braun Strowman with Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan ringside, and Paul Heyman was doing guest commentary for this match. I didn't really pay attention to this match. It's a Braun Strowman match. I was kind of just texting my friends on my phone, playing games, so I didn't really pay attention to this match. Dean Ambrose ends up getting himself disqualified when Strowman ends up going shoulder first into the steel post, and Dean Ambrose hits him off the head with the chair, and he just lays to waste to Strowman. I thought this was stupid that the Wyatts just didn't jump in the ring right when Ambrose was hitting him with the chair. They really easily could have done that, but it didn't happen. Then Dean Ambrose just hits the Dirty Deeds on the chair. If you were just going to have Dean Ambrose just lay out Strowman with a Dirty Deeds, why didn't he just win the fucking match? But whatever. I thought that would have made Ambrose look stronger if he actually just won the match instead of just laying him out with a weapon, so I thought that was stupid. And then afterwards, he looks at Heyman saying that that's going to be Brock Lesnar. I still thought Ambrose looked strong because he did lay out Strowman, but I'm saying if he won the match, that would have made him look even more impressive. And to be honest with you, I thought Raw was okay this week. I'm really not agreeing with what they've done with Mania. I think they pretty much can't do anything else to save Mania. There's nothing they can do, really. They pretty much have dug their grave. The only match I really have high interest in is Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar. I'm really interested in that feud. I think they've done everything right with it. Except those 2 weeks they took off with it. That's about it. Everything else just doesn't make sense or looks stupid. You have the only reason I'm interested in this Shane McMahon Undertaker is because I like talking about how much Undertaker's gonna win. That's the only fun I've had with this match. I really don't care about the feud that much. It doesn't make any sense that they're having Shane McMahon talk about how the fucking show sucks, and the WWE is admitting that they suck. Now, when Family Guy does it, and they have other shows that done it when they do parodies on it, then that's fine, because that's the joke. This is like supposed to be taken seriously. This would be like if The Walking Dead or Breaking Bad or something like that. Breaking Bad, I know is not in the air, but I'm just saying this would be like if The Walking Dead came up and said, you know what, we suck. We just have fake zombies. This isn't really a zombie apocalypse. We don't get anything accomplished in some episodes. We just suck. Our season premiere episode wasn't anything special. This would be like exactly if they said that. This would be like, it's just stupid that they're admitting that they suck. Like, normally in a company, you do want to admit your flaws, but you don't admit, but the thing that they're doing is they're admitting that they've sucked for years and have done nothing about it, talking about, oh, well, we had low ratings. They're admitting that they've done this for years, and that's stupid. You have this Roman Reigns Triple H match, that Triple H is the fucking babyface. You have the Usos versus the Dudleys. Who gives a shit about that match? I should give a shit about it, but it's like I talked about. They don't feature that match. You have the New Day wrestling the League of fucking Nations. How stupid is that? You have the fucking Andre the Giant and this IC title ladder smodge. Those are just smodges. They're just fucking. That's a fucking mess. You have fucking Chris Jericho and AJ Styles that they fucked up. What else do you have that they fucked? What else have they fucked up? They fucked up, I can't even, it's bad too when, like, my cousin has to text me, and he watches the show every week, but he's kind of like, he doesn't, like, remember sometimes when the pay-per-view is, but he literally had to ask me WrestleMania's next week, right? Like, literally, he asked me WrestleMania's next week. If it was any other pay-per-view, I'd understand. But the fact that he literally has to ask me WrestleMania's next week, Wrestle-fucking-Mania, is fucking sad. I am looking forward to the show because I get to attend WrestleMania, and I'm not going to let the WWE take that away from me with all their bullshit. But, yeah, they really did a poor job with the actual build-up. Because I'm trying to look at it too if I was going to watch it on the network. It's bad when I'm looking when NXT or minor leagues, and that's with the NXT, like the minor leagues, the developmental show, their fucking pay-per-view special or takeover looks better than you. I'm just saying, but whatever. Overall, Raw was an okay show this week. It had some stuff I actually enjoyed. I think the main reason I was enjoying this show, though, because I went into, like, full-on Undertaker fanboy mode, like, right when the video package played, and right when they made the announcement, so I definitely had way too much probably watching the show, but I'm going to take it. I am going to... I did have some fun watching the show for that reason. It's just trolling everybody talking about the Undertaker. But anyhow, that's pretty much it, guys. Subscribe to my channel down below and subscribe to all the other stuff, yada, yada, yada. I'll try to upload some other stuff this week, and that's pretty much it, guys. Bye.